And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with our first TVT of the TLS. It is going to be none other than Reps Largo versus SJ.TerrOr.
Oh yes. This is the battle of the big hitters. TerrOr, of course, looking pretty good to qualify already. I think he was top of the points board last time I saw.
Yep.
Just gonna have a quick check. Yeah, way up at the top of the points board before this weekend. Anyway, with 148 points, that's 44 points above second place. So that's significant. He's been looking damn good, and we're about to see how his TVT is going, which is going to be super cool. TVT, of course, very highly strategic matchup with any number of options which can happen.
Yeah, it's funny actually. I mean, I'm a Protoss player, but I occasionally dabble in the off races just to get an idea of what it's like. And I found that TVT is actually one of the most enjoyable matchups to play. Even compared to like the Protoss matchup, sometimes I just really like playing TVT because it's one of those things where because both races are obviously very defensive. It's hard to it's hard to just kind of kill your opponent outright very quickly. You get very long drawn out games where oftentimes it becomes a lot more like a positional game where you got to think a lot more about how you're going to position your forces on the map, and even if your mechanics are not quite up to par, just because this it's such a huge scale of gameplay, I suppose. You can get some really cool stuff going on. So I do quite like that.
It's quite an unusual matchup to watch though, I think, because in no other matchup are you so used to, this is kind of a weird statement, but in no other matchup are you so used to seeing lots of tanks die. So every time, but it's true though, because every time you see...
You're such a Protoss, Elegant. You're such a Protoss.
But every time you see one of these big tank drops go down, it's like, oh, he just lost like 10 tanks, he's dead now. But then it happens at the other side of the map, and it just keeps happening, and it throws me all off balance.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, the only unit in Brood War that can kill a siege tank is another siege tank. So
yeah.
I guess that's why, right?
That's why you should always make Dark Archons in PvT.
Yeah. Man,
you need those
siege tank recalls are the best.
Oh my god, I would love to do that. Oh, so sick.
Because they stay sieged when you recall them too.
What, really?
Yeah, so you just clump up like 20 tanks, siege them up, recall it into his base, and they're all sieged when they go there. Beautiful, beautiful.
That is beautiful. That's brutal. I need to do that one day.
Anyway, so yeah. I think we're good to go here. I mean, yeah, both these players, top level Terrans. I think Largo was a little bit inactive recently, so maybe not his peak form, but TerrOr certainly should give us give us a good game.
Yeah, absolutely he should. So yeah, I'm ready to go into the next game. If you are, Mr. Sale.
Alrighty, let us get going. Largo versus TerrOr in the round of 32 of the TLS Qualifier, number 5. Here we go. Alright, here we are in the game. At the top left, as the orange Terran, we will have Reps Largo. And at the top right, as the peach-ish Terran, we will have SJ.TerrOr.
Peach-ish.
Peach-ish, that's right.
I literally never thought of that color as peach before.
What is it then? What is this color?
I don't know. I can't unsee that now. It's always going to be peach.
Well, what is it? What is the color? Tell me. What is the color?
I can't think of anything else. You're right.
Yeah, it's peachish.
Yeah, that's stuck with me forever. Thanks.
It's terrible.
The peach
like, okay, that's like the best way I can describe it. But okay, so my mom actually bought me a hoodie for Christmas as well, and I also can't. Like, I'm actually wearing it right now, and I don't know what color this is that I'm wearing. It's like red-ish, purple-ish brown or something. Does anybody know what color this is? Hold on. All right, when we go back to the caster screen. Actually, wait, no. You know what? I can put myself on screen. There. Look, guys. What color is this? All right. If I spawned as this color on the map, what color would I be? All right, that's your quiz. Pop quiz, guys. Go at it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Whoever gets it right gets a TL shirt. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have a TL shirt to give you, but You get esports dollars.
Yeah. Which is, you know, what we're all in it for. I mean, why else would we all be here? You know, ooh, we have some proxy stuff. We have a barracks being laid down in the middle from Mr. Reps Largo. So let's see if Terra is out of this. I mean, I don't think this is going to be a hugely kind of rushy build. I think it's going to be more speculative than anything. But nonetheless, it is going to be a nice little early test of Terra's crisis management.
Indeed it is. Now, this is actually a pretty common thing to do in TVT. It's not I don't know. I personally wouldn't call it necessarily cheesy just because you're almost never actually going to win the game outright like this. But,
yeah. Straight there.
I think
he sees it.
Yeah, he sees it. There's not much he can do. I mean, it's almost finished constructing, so he's going to poke this SCV a little bit, but the barracks should definitely finish. And the SCV will probably live to tell the tale, although it'd be a little bit close. Yeah, 10 HP left.
Imagine that. Imagine if that SCV had gone down before the barracks finished. That would have been disastrous. That would actually have been absolutely disastrous for Largo right there. That could have been like a game ender right there.
Dude, there was actually a game in Pro League where that happened, where both players proxy racks, but one of them did it like on the high ground and the other did it on the low ground just below the other guy's racks. So the other guy was just giggling the whole time because he could see it constructing under his racks. And his first Marine comes out and kills the SCV.
Oh, and we have a little bit of SCV on Marine action. The Marine is one hit away from being killed by the SCV, and this just proves that don't bother with Marines, guys. Just make lots of SCVs.
That is a very good point. I mean, SCVs, they hard counter Dragoons, you know, they hard counter tanks. It's good times, man. Marines don't hard counter tanks. SCVs do, though. Definitely do.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it looks like the factory timing is about identical here. Just a fraction of a second between them. Meanwhile, this wounded SCV is actually now looking for the actual spawn location and is not going to find it just yet. It looks like both players still actually don't know where the other player is on the map yet. So I can't really do anything. But now it looks like the Marines are moving out here. I wonder if... I mean, he's being aggressive even though he was scouted. I wonder if he maybe is hoping that his opponent, TerrOr, went for a 14cc or something. Because on this map, when you have your back protected mineral only, it's not that inconceivable to see.
Yeah. It wouldn't be that surprising, but this should lose by default because one of those Marines is on much lower health. So if TerrOr just kind of does the clicking around right, then he should be able to beat this 100%. If he micro as well. And here comes the first engagement. Largo tempted to go in, but not looking too sure of himself. I wonder if he's going to tank damage with that SCV, but even that SCV is not going to be able to tank much damage. Looks like he's going to have a little bit of a poke around, but that SCV is going to be going down. And yeah, I really don't think there's much he can do with this. He's just going to have to pull back and defend as that expansion goes up. There is a vulture, however, on the way out already.
It's two fact vultures against a one fact expand here. This could go very, very badly.
And we do have mines as well. Yeah. Oh my god. So with mines coming in even before vulture speed, he's going to be able to lay down mines around. Oh, and he's pushing out the first siege tank as well. Are you sure you want to be doing this, Largo? Are you sure? Because his mines are almost done. And oh, massive engagement for SJ.TerrOr right there. It may not look like much, but getting those Marine kills is a really, really big deal because they're going to be very strong about defending against these mines, which are going to be laid down around his first tank.
Oh man, and here we go. Two more vultures coming in to help reinforce here. Now in straight up fights, the vultures won't be good against the tanks. The mines are really the crucial thing here. Can Largo actually focus down the mines before they go down? Looks like a couple of mines going down, but he's doing a fairly good job so far. He's gonna target down that mine. No, he's gonna take a mine in. Oh, it takes a big mine in here. But it looks like all the vultures are down. And wait, was that his own SCV or was that an enemy SCV? I'm just getting confused right now. But anyway, more vultures are coming in. There's still one mine there, so he's gonna be careful not to move that tank too close. More mines being laid right now. He's gonna micro his heart out to survive this, but it looks like he's doing a good job. The problem is his command center is not gonna finish just yet, and he can't actually move out to finish it.
I think he could just about move out with these tanks. There are 3 mines down. He could take an RC mine hit. It's just about possible. We have more vultures coming in right here. I don't think it's really possible to lay down more mines because of the tanks ready to fire because there are already 3 of them. So I think these tanks should be okay as long as they just stay back and don't get caught in a nasty position. But these vultures are going to be able to keep taking out SCVs and should be able to prevent... okay, so just managed to deal with that mine. Should be able to prevent the CC from going up as long as he's careful. And he does have the vulture speed now as well, so yeah, easily darting in to take down that SCV. A little bit sneaky though right here from Largo, landing down his barracks at his opponent's natural. So no CC right there for you yet.
Yeah, that is quite amusing. But on the other hand, his command center is like 99.9% done, and the SCV got sniped, so that must be a little bit frustrating as well. But it looks like he has managed to finish it now, so he will be able to start mining from his natural. He's still going to be a little bit careful, but he's just going to slowly poke out. He can't, he's just got to be a little bit careful to make sure the tanks can come out a little bit further, so vultures can't sneak around the slide and kill all his SCVs when he starts mining. Meanwhile, there's a giant minefield outside his base, so it's going to be a while before he can actually move out onto the map safely. So for the time being, TerrOr has map control, but the problem is he actually only has vultures, which suck at killing buildings. So this barracks is probably going to block that command center for a very long time. He built a marine from it to maybe try and kill that command center. Wow, he's actually lifting it. Why is he doing that?
What?
Dude, vultures take forever to kill buildings. You just left that there for an hour.
Yeah, that would have really been annoying. I mean, the first tank's on its way out, but it still would have taken a while. The mines are finally done with outside the natural expansion of Largo, so he's able to move his tanks out into a better position. But he still doesn't really have the numbers to move out through that intense minefield that he knows is going to be waiting for him, and it undoubtedly is. That's a lot of mines.
It is indeed a lot of mines. Sometimes Terrans will try to aim move through minefields with Goliaths and tanks because they do have the instant shot, and you can kind of sneak through, but with such a dense minefield, it's very risky.
Yeah. I mean, the chances are more than one mine would pop up at some point, and your tank AI would not quite do the job perfectly well, so I can see why he's not too confident to move out. He should be getting... Okay, he's got his starpot way up now as well. And from the other side of things, we have... Okay, we're not seeing a starpot, we're just seeing him go straight for the armory, so this is going to be an interesting deviation again in the builds. We'll see how these guys fare with this. First Goliath is now out, and he's going to be able to chase away that barracks. I think that barracks is probably going to be able to survive, though.
Yeah, Largo's actually doing a very cool trick also, using like one tank to kind of lead slowly and just force the mines up so his tanks in the back could shoot it. Because obviously there's a slight delay before the mine actually goes off and triggers on your tank. But this could be, that's exactly what we're talking about, what Elegant was saying, how multiple mines triggered at once, and he did lose a tank there and take a big hit on the other tanks, but he is kind of broken out here. He did also want to move out before he got contained, because we could see TerrOr was kind of starting to set up a siege contain, or hoping to set up a siege contain before Largo could break out of the minefield. So there was a bit of a timer on how slowly Largo could actually move out. So I think that probably forced his hand a little bit, moving out faster than he really wanted to. But it looks like he's gotten control of that area now. He did only lose a single siege tank, so it's not the end of the world. He can repair the other tanks for now, so he is fine. But it looks like TerrOr once again moving out here, playing a pretty aggressive game. Although with that first dropship on the way for Largo, that could change very quickly.
Yeah, it really could. I mean, if that dropship manages to pull the tank lines out of position just a little bit, then it could really give an opening for whoever is actually using it. So that could be a really major factor, and I hope that TerrOr is going to be aware of that. But Largo's looking like he's stabilized quite well right now. He's got a fairly decent tank line outside his natural, but again, everything can change as soon as the first dropship starts making its way out. We do have an interesting positional tank push coming out from TerrOr, so I guess just going to try and hold that key kind of area across the bridges, but there are, of course, multiple paths through, so I'm not sure if he'll be able to really hold this for too long. I mean, maybe he will, but I don't really fancy the position he's in right there.
Yeah, this doesn't particularly seem like the best map for containing. There are a lot of paths. It's just a very big map in general, so there's a lot of space you need to cover with your tanks. And with the way kind of Largo's strung out a line of tanks outside his natural here, it's a little bit tricky for TerrOr to do that for sure. Meanwhile, that looks like we do have the first dropship coming in here. He's got 4 vultures, just going to do some vulture harass in the main base. There is a missile turret, but it won't be enough though to stop the drop, I don't think. And yes, he is moving out of position. He is now going to get the drop off. It looks like TerrOr does notice pulling back most of his forces. Actually, it looks like he's pulling back all of his forces. I think that's a bit of a mistake. He's just got 4 vultures to deal with. He can just deal with it, with a couple of tanks. He's actually already got 1 tank siege up in his main, so very nice defense here for TerrOr. I don't know if that was siege up already there, just like preemptively, or if he just pulled it back in time, but either way. He's got to be a little bit careful about these mines, so he doesn't want to trigger them on the SCVs, but it looks like he does get away without taking any damage.
Yeah, he absolutely fine right there. I don't actually think he lost anything. He might have lost an SCV or two, but that drop was pretty kind of irrelevant for him. It did force him to give up his position, but I'm not sure it was a great position, and also Largo doesn't seem to have actually moved anything else forward, so honestly, that was only gain right there for TerrOr. And Largo's going to have to be a little bit smarter about his dropping action than that, because, we actually have an early 3rd base happening right now from TerrOr, so he believes he's really got the map position right now.
Yeah, I mean, he is playing it in a way that that makes sense. You know, he's being very aggressive with his tanks. He's trying to set up this contain, even though he doesn't quite have a solid contain yet, just because he's kind of keeping pressure on his opponent. And Largo doesn't seem to be, you know, doing too much besides the occasional vulture drop there. I think that's probably a safe thing to do. And the thing is also in TVT, basically the main resource that you're using is gas. You know, you're mainly making tanks, dropships, Goliaths, sometimes wraiths. Depending on how the game's going. Actually, there is a single Wraith out patrolling to stop dropships. And it looks like it's going to catch it. It might force an early drop here by these dropships. Oh, is he going to catch it? Not quite. He wasn't microing it. And looks like one Goliath actually dropped to engage the Wraith and no micro on that Wraith, so it's not going to chase it. A scan just to see what's going on there. I don't actually even know whose scan that was. A bit of a random location there. The Wraith comes in, but it gets taken down by the second Goliath. And looks like an annoying position now set up by Largo in the main of TerrOr. See, this is the thing. TerrOr was very focused on the ground army, on the ground contain, whereas Largo now is like, well, alright, if you want to contain me, that's fine. I'll just go drop, you know, straight into your main. But it looks like some SCVs coming off, going to help deal with this. Of course, SCVs great against siege tanks because SCVs are imbalanced.
Oh, yes, they are indeed, and we see all those siege tanks go down. Again, relatively little damage being taken right there from TerrOr. Largo did get a bit further this time, but that was a lot of tanks and vultures right there that went into his main base. And all of them died, and I don't really think they took anything with them. So this is only going to serve to weaken Largo. And yeah, because especially considering that TerrOr is going to have a third base up pretty soon, I'm not quite sure there's much Largo's going to be able to do about that. He does still have a decent number of tanks moving forward, however, so he may yet be able to take up a good forward line and force something decent from TerrOr yet.
Oh, looks like it's a race. Who's going to get into position first? I think a slightly faster siege, but it looks like he shot an SCV. Oh, no. And it looks like it's going to be quite close. The thing is, though, TerrOr desperately wanted to defend this backside disruptors because if... Oh, nice mine there. If Largo actually got in range of these, he could break that open and start running vultures in through the back, which would be extremely annoying for TerrOr. So TerrOr definitely wants to hold that key location at least. By the way, vulture here at the 3 o'clock, just kind of being annoying, denying that base for now, but that should get taken care of fairly easily. You know, more forces coming in here. I don't think he should just run them up though. There's more reinforcements coming out from TerrOr. I think he kind of misjudged how weak or how strong the defenses were there. So he's going to lose a couple of tanks and have to pull back there. But meanwhile, he has taken the 12 o'clock base as well. So he's getting his own gas base. What I was trying to say earlier, actually, before that crazy drop happened was, you know, in this matchup, the gas is the important resource. So, you know, we see both players kind of ignoring their back mineral onlys, even though they're free bases, and just going for the gas expansions. And that also means that you know, in TVT, actually, you do tend to see some pretty fast command centers being made, some pretty fast expansions, just because you have a lot of excess minerals left over anyway. So you might as well use it.
Yeah, I mean, kind of picture the Zerg in Zerg v Zerg making up an extra hatchery and basically just mining gas off it. We see a similar kind of thing here in TVT in terms of the third base often, especially. So we see them getting the gas right. Actually, interesting, we don't see TerrOr getting the gas right away, but we see Largo getting it in advance of his CC finishing, just so he manages to grab that gas as early as he possibly can. And both these guys setting up really pretty close range positions up at the top of the map. Interesting, managing to sneak a few vultures through, which is going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass for Largo.
Kill the SCV! Kill the SCV! Ah, you could kill the SCV before it finished. That'd be quite good. Although I guess there's other SCVs there anyway, so it wouldn't matter too much. That mine could be quite funny if it blows up a bunch of SCVs, but anyway, yeah. Oh damn, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, we're having actually quite a lot of early engagements here, just because, you know, since Largo's taking the 12 o'clock, obviously he wants to defend that, but also the 12 o'clock base is very close to the back door of TerrOr, so it's kind of a key location for both players to hold right here, so we're seeing some pretty intense skirmishes on this little border. Meanwhile, TerrOr's macro, by the way, just now got a little bit bad there. He was kind of floating 1500 and 1200 gas or something like that. It looks like it's gone down a little bit now. He's also gotten, is that +3? No, that's +2 on the way for his weapons, but hold that thought. 4 more dropships going towards the 3 o'clock base. Looks like they're going to get intercepted by some units, though, and there's one Wraith chasing as well. Are they going to change direction to the natural? Where are they actually going to go? The natural or the third? Looks like they're going for the natural. No, they're going for the third.
I think that may be the better choice, although that's quite accessible to TerrOr. So those tanks are going to have to siege up very, very quickly from Largo if he's going to be able to take that position. And this could actually be quite nasty for TerrOr, especially since those tanks are not looking too vulnerable to SCVs, although the SCVs are still able to get in there and do their splash damage. But so many SCVs going down right here for TerrOr. And finally, Largo has been able to do some of the damage that he wanted to. It's not a huge amount of damage, but it's still relatively nasty. He might be able to catch one dropship on the way home. He does manage to catch one dropship on the way home. So I'm not quite sure who came out on top of that right there. I would think that probably maybe Largo came out slightly on top of it because TerrOr just lost so many SCVs. And Largo trying to push forward with a few tanks. I don't know if that's a good idea. I think maybe he's overstretched his line a bit. TerrOr looking like he's going to try and do the same. Largo is already sieged up. I don't know if this is going to be great for either of them. This could really go either way at this point, depending on tank targeting. It looks like TerrOr is actually probably going to take the engagement, although both players losing pretty much every single one of their tanks right here. And it's going to be a bit of a stalemate in this push right now, with Largo just taking the upper hand exactly as he needed to as well, because if he loses that 12 o'clock base, he is in all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, pretty scrappy battle here, especially as far as TVT goes, where we generally see pretty huge engagements going into the late game, but in this case both players being aggressive with very small numbers of siege tanks. Yeah, in the meantime, I'm a little bit surprised that TerrOr hasn't made any dropships of his own. He's only making the occasional Wraith. I mean, he's got the Starport with Control Tower, so he could very easily add a few dropships. Even if he doesn't want to like aggressively drop his opponent's bases, he can use them to like drop on top of siege tanks and do kind of Zealot Bomb-ish things, but with Vultures and SCVs and tanks and Goliaths rather, and whatnot. It does help kind of break siege lines, but he's just kind of focused on his ground army right now. He's actually making more Wraiths though, which is quite interesting. One other important thing is that TerrOr's upgrade is quite a bit further ahead, so his +2 is actually almost finished right now, whereas it looks like +2 for Largo hasn't even started now. +2 upgrade, attack upgrade, is the crucial upgrade in TVT, because when your siege tanks have +2 attack and they're in siege mode, they 2-shot your opponent's tanks, whereas if they only have +1 or +0, they take 3 shots to kill your opponent's tank. So it's a huge advantage to have that +2 attack earlier than your opponent.
And this is the thing about upgrades and mirror matchups as well. It's such a more direct thing. I mean, the effectiveness of upgrades in non-mirror matchups is always kind of, you have to weigh it up, whereas in a mirror matchup it's very, very, boom, this will get you this benefit and your units will be this much better. It's very, very direct. And as such, this is going to leave Largo in a little bit of a dodgy position because, of course, we do already have the +2 in right now from TerrOr. He did have the armory significantly earlier because, of course, Largo went for the earlier starport, so it all makes a difference. Even this stage in the game, those opening builds really, really do count, and Largo is repelled once again from that middle position, and TerrOr's doing a great job of holding on. I think Largo would do well not to push that too much more and just kind of be happy with what he's got for the time being.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to get contained, though. The contain is being set up right now. He wants access to the southern parts of the map, but he's getting denied right now by this force. Of course, there is still this route on the left side, but, the noose is closing. And more importantly, there's a hidden base here at the 6 o'clock, which means that TerrOr now has 1 extra gas over his opponent. And, we've been saying all game long how gas is the crucial factor in this matchup. So this is a pretty nice advantage for TerrOr right now. Even though Largo took his back manor only and TerrOr didn't, that doesn't really matter nearly so much as that gas. So with the upgrade advantage, with the gas advantage, I mean, I think +2 is probably still not even started for TerrOr, or sorry, for Largo rather. So this is looking a little bit difficult for our Russian Terran here. It's
really not looking particularly good. I mean, if you just take a glance at the minimap, you can immediately get a feel for how the game is going. We've only just had TerrOr take up another base, but nonetheless, if you look at the position, he's got so many more options available to him throughout the game, and Largo is just basically been clinging on to that 12 o'clock as best he can, trying to make some headway. But for anyone inexperienced in the way TVT works, all you need to do is look at the minimap, look at these positions these guys have been fighting for, and every engagement up until this point really starts to make sense.
By the way, since you mentioned that, I also just noticed there's a vulture now of TerrOr's at basically every single expo on the map.
Yeah.
So he's basically saying, I took hidden base, and I want to make sure my opponent did not take a hidden base. So very, very nice scouting there. I mean, the vultures, they're very, very cheap, basically expendable units in this matchup. In most matchups, really, they're just expendable. So to just use those to scout all the bases, I think it's a very, very nice move. I really, really like that. Meanwhile, a scan here, presumably by Largo, who wanted to try maybe another drop in the main. He is actually loading up 5 dropships now, but unfortunately for him, there are now turrets in position to stop that.
Yeah, that's a lot of turrets. I mean, I think at least 1 dropship would go down before he made it in, maybe even 2. I just don't think it'd be worth it. He needs to be using those dropships instead to try and break these tank lines, specifically the lower tank line defending the middle of the map. There's a lot of Goliaths in there. Holy wow, that's a lot of Goliaths. So I think I think TerrOr is very, very aware of the dropship threat in all areas of the map. It looks like the dropships are tempted to go there, but I think maybe throwing down a scan showed him that would have been a hideously bad idea. I think the Wraith does spot those dropships as they're flying around, but does go down to a missile turret. So whilst the dropships are the right idea for Largo in order to cost efficiently break, I actually don't know that he's really got an opening.
But the thing is, he's got to move soon because we have another base going down for Terra at the bottom right. So he's about to be up 2 gases here. And if Largo doesn't stop that very, very quickly, he's going to be in huge trouble. Looks like one Vulture does spot the army, though. All the glides are moving to intercept this. Oh, man, this could end very, very badly for Largo. His dropships are moving inwards now. Looks like he's just unloaded a couple of Vultures. Yeah. And he might actually miss the Goliaths just barely. Wait, where the dropships go? Oh, my God, where are they going? They're trying to intercept. Are they going to intercept? This could be terrible. Oh, he's going to grab one. He grabs one with 2 free siege tanks in it. That's very, very expensive. And he's still not out of the woods yet. He's trying to find an opening. Oh, no, there's 2 Wraiths. There's 2 Wraiths here. They're going to focus down. One more of the dropships. I think the Goliaths and everything will drop in time. It looks like they do. But now this army is in a very wonky position that doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah, wonky really is it. I mean, look how useless this army right here is. That army is going to be able to do nothing if Terra doesn't let it out, and Terra is going to be able to cost efficiently kind of just stop that army from being particularly able to break out. And oh my God, more dropships going down. We still have somehow 5 dropships remaining from Largo, but I don't think he can really go anywhere because Terra just looked so on the ball about defending this. He was scanning around. He had Wraiths on the map as well. It looks like Largo is actually planning to head over to the right-hand side from the 12 o'clock. He might not be cost efficient, but I'm pretty sure he can do it. Scans are down, so he's able to take down these mines as he moves on, and this is going to be a pretty summary defeat right here, but it all matters about how Terra comes back to it. He's going to consider landing dropships on top, but he actually has nothing in those dropships, so he's going to waste those dropships. And I'm not quite sure what the point of those was, but he does move up reinforcements in order to defend a little bit further back, so he hasn't completely lost the position right here. However, he has lost some of his forward defenses, and that is another nasty tank hit right now for Largo. He cannot be losing tanks 2 at a time like that.
I'm pretty sure he thought he had units in those dropships and wanted to drop on Largo's tanks and just like, oh wait, these are empty, damn it. At least they did provide a little bit of vision, of course, because tanks do shoot farther than they can see. So, you know, you usually see Terrans having floating buildings and whatnot. In this case, there's not that many, especially in this little engagement here on the right side. So actually those dropships at least did something useful, I hope. Meanwhile, we do see another base going down for Terra. Of course, he's basically maxed now, so might as well just make more command centers, right? With your minerals, make more command centers, make more factories. There's actually a Valkyrie out now from Terra also to help deal with all these dropships. Meanwhile, a dropship with 8 SCVs is trying to sneak down the side of the map here. He's going to try and take this base where his army is dropped, actually, and it looks like the dropship will make it through, despite there being a lot of Goliaths around. I hear some random siege tanks dying or something. Looks like, oh, that's Largo's tanks dying. That's not good for him. He's at like 160 supply, by the way, against a maxed opponent, so that's not good.
Yeah, that's really, really, really not good. It would have been such a bloodbath if those SCVs had gone down. That would have been indiscriminate slaughter of what is practically civilians. We do have a big push coming across the top of the map right now from Terra, though, moving towards the 12 o'clock. I literally have no idea how Largo is going to be able to hold on to this. He's going to have some great dropship action or something, but I don't even see any units coming up to defend. Okay, now he's moving to defend, but he's already lost position. There is no way he's going to be able to push successfully towards Terra's lines. He's sieging up, though. He has to try and defend this, otherwise his economy is shot to pieces. He may just be able to do it. He does have quite a lot of tanks in there, surprisingly, but the SCVs coming off the line as well. Maybe even going to have a crack at the tanks themselves.
He's targeting the SCVs!
Oh, not quite getting a huge stack of SCVs there. He is able to grab a few. And we have 7 and 7 kills respectively on these 2 siege tanks, but it looks like Largo is just going to be able to defend this. However, the supply counts have stayed relatively evenly balanced, so Terra is staying quite well ahead, almost getting a very, very important position right there, but still managing to soften Largo up. And of course, when you're ahead on economy, you're the one who can afford to lose units more.
Indeed, indeed. But interestingly, while all that's been going on, it looks like we've had... Wait a minute, why is this command center not actually building? I was going to say we have 2 bases constructing at the bottom left, but this SCV's decided to go on strike or something. Because this command center is at 164 HP and it's not building. I actually don't know how he did this. Oh, wait, there we go. Okay, there we go. He's put it back to building now, I guess. Yeah, he must have seen that, but maybe accidentally hit escape or something on that SCV. Good thing he didn't cancel his command center on accident. Although he did have like 5,000 minerals at one point. He's still got over 3,000 minerals on the bank, so it's not a huge deal. But it looks like another huge attack here going at the 12 o'clock here. A few SCVs to support as well to tank some hits. And it looks like, is it going to be good this time? There's more tanks in the back for Largo. But there's so many units for Terra. I think he might have to forfeit this base, this 12 o'clock base. He's been holding on for so long, might finally go down. He did mine most of it out, but there's still a few resources left. It's got about a third of the resources left for that base. The command center looks like it's being targeted or something. Or maybe that's just the only thing in range of the tanks, so that is about to die here. You should just lift it off. Lift it off! Dude, there's like no Goliath. There's one Goliath here. You should have just lifted it off. And oh man, gonna lose the SCVs. Oh god. Oh god. And look at that. Terra's gonna take the base.
Yeah, that is absolutely horrible. Largo is beyond in trouble. That SCV death was absolutely hideous. We right now see 121 supply versus 176 for our good friend TerrOr. So TerrOr is looking dominant in this game. Largo would have to do something absolutely phenomenal in order to come back into this. I mean, it is just about possible, especially in TVT, to kind of steadily lever your way back into a match, but this would be a slow recovery indeed. TerrOr just has to hold the key positions, and he's going to be just fine. I'm pretty sure he knows about the bottom left-hand corner bases, and I'm pretty sure he'll be fairly happy to leave them be for now. Not that there's any particular way in immediately, and it would be quite expensive for him to get there, but I think there's no emergency, to be honest. I mean, look at the SCV count. We've got like 4 SCVs at the natural there and 1 SCV in the main. And after losing so many SCVs at the 12 o'clock, he knows there aren't many extra lying around.
You know, it's quite interesting because Largo is really preparing heavily for some kind of drop coming into this base. He's got all these turrets, he's laying mines on the high ground in case units get dropped there. So very, very solid defense of these bases. But, you know, TerrOr, I think he's right. In the long term, if you think, look at how the map is split. You know, he's about to take 12 o'clock and he already had the 6 o'clock for a while now. So yeah, if both players do take their halves of the map and they mine out, TerrOr will be up 2 bases because he took the 12 and the 6. So, you know, in the long run, he's going to win anyway. So he doesn't have to attack right now. Largo's the one who has to do something. You know, he has to be active. He has to be aggressive to try and come back because he's the one who's behind right now. You know, not just in supply, but in the long term scheme of things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to find a way for Largo back into this. He really needs to hold on to the bottom.
This could be a bad drop though, or not. He scans it and runs away.
Okay, yeah, and that's why it's always important to scan before you go in, boys and girls.
Oh, make sure he's going in anyway. He's going in anyway. And this is the least defended part of this base, but it looks like it's still fairly well defended. He's going to lose all of these dropships, it looks like, to the turrets that just finished constructing, but a lot of tanks are remaining here, although a big mine hit on 3 of those tanks, but it looks like Largo's going to have a bit of trouble getting position on this base to actually dislodge these tanks.
Yeah, he's going to have a bit of a hard time actually getting up there with anything meaningful. And losing SCVs, it's not usually too much of a big deal in TVT, but right now it's quite crippling, actually, the way Largo is having to throw them into the line of fire. He can now finish off that 1 remaining siege tank with just SCVs, but he doesn't seem to be too keen on doing so. He's going to have to move some extra siege tanks forward to deal with that. Meanwhile, I hear more siege tank fire.
He broke the back door. He broke the back door.
Oh, he did. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's going to be a pretty nice way up. And now, TerrOr is able to just siege his way straight into Largo's last remaining mining bases. This is going to be tough.
Man, I didn't even think of that. I was like, oh, that's well defended against drops. And TerrOr's like, well, yeah, I guess so. I'll just walk in there then instead.
Yeah.
Man, it's so funny. Like, you know, you always point out these kind of map things in the beginning of the game, but once it gets to the late game, there's so much craziness going on, and you just like forget that that's even possible.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, that is a huge army at Largo's natural. I wonder what he's going to do with it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what he can do with it. He could push over to the 12 o'clock. But again, it's not that important anymore. He doesn't even have a spare CC lying around. He's got hardly any SCVs lying around. Really, he needs to be worrying about the bottom left-hand corner because that's his last defensive line of hope. Somewhere where he's got some kind of economy. His supply has caught up, so I guess he's got 1 big army in him. But unfortunately, TVT doesn't usually work like that, whereby you do 1 big finishing push. We have more drops coming to the bottom left-hand corner. Largo needs to get there now. And here we have the big break. He's going to be met with pretty minimal resistance right there. He needs to scan ahead, though, otherwise he might take some nasty mine hits. His units are so clumped out right here, he cannot afford to take mine hits at this point. But to be honest, the rate of fire is enough that it looks like he's just able to wander straight through it, and he might be able to get down there in time to do some kind of defense of his last remaining economy.
I don't know, this could be the last gambit of Largo, just to wield this massive force of siege tanks and crush everything. I mean, this is a ton of siege tanks. This is a Protoss player. This is just making me very, very scared right now. But the thing is, you know, unfortunately for him, his opponent also has siege tanks. This is so unfair, man.
On the high ground as well. I mean, the Russian army is just getting absolutely crushed. He is able to take out those siege tanks, but that cost him so much. That was like a 2-to-1 ratio against him when he was attacking up at the high ground. So that's really nasty. And now, he's attacking his siege tanks in the main down there. He's losing so much just in an attempt to take down this small force, and he might actually not be able to do it. His army has dwindled into practically nothing. 127 supply. He just bombed at least 50 supply right there, whilst his opponent already very near to maxed again. I think Largo's time is nearly up. He is probably going to be able to at last clean these units out of his bottom left-hand corner base, and thus we'll be able to hold on a bit longer and maybe have some slight sliver of hope.
Yeah, but as you say, this is being very, very costly, and I don't know, wielding that huge tank army just to go rescue this base seems a bit excessive. Although, man, is this like tiny little drawback just gonna kill all of his tanks? Oh my god, that is horrible. He's not actually even be able to clear this out. He just sent his entire army and wasn't even able to clear out the drop. So now that's still sieging his base. Terra's still maxed. He's at 117 supply. I mean, Terra's got all the bases. I'm a little bit surprised there's not a battlecruiser transition yet.
I mean, what can I say? That is high ground advantage right there. Once you have yourself in the position, you have your tanks sieged up, you're going to be able to just have waves of stuff coming against you, and you're going to be able to be super, super cost effective.
And Largo, here we go, huge attack on the natural. And he's moving in, only a handful of tanks to defend, and it looks like Largo might lose his last couple of bases here. He's sending in all of his units to reinforce. He needs to hold these last 2 bases. These are his last 2 mining bases, but he's going to lose this one for sure. Yeah. And losing all the SCVs with it doesn't even save them. Where is his army going? He went to the 9 o'clock. What? Oh man, his army got lost on the way to the base to defend it and has decided to just like go the completely other direction. Oh,
yeah, that's
man.
very, very bizarre. I think no matter how much of Terra's economy he kills right now, he will not be able to do enough damage because Terra is just too strong. He has such a big army compared to Largo's in practically a strike force at this point. I know it's about 12 tanks, but nonetheless, it's just not strong anymore. And Largo's going to be able to take care of the bottom left-hand base and say, okay, cool, I'm going to send most of my army back and I'm going to deal with your entire army with this bit of my army, which is going to be quite unfortunate for Largo. And yeah, Terra's forming a nice defensive position down the bottom right hand corner as well. I thoroughly expect Largo to wander into that, lose all of his siege tank, and GG out. Here it goes, Terra being able to hold on with the greatest of ease. He's probably going to have to pull his Goliaths back, otherwise he's going to lose pretty much all of them to these siege tanks right here, but I'm not even sure he cares anymore. He's going to be able to replenish those in the drop of a hat and the bat of an eyelid, and meanwhile just still roving around the map in the middle as well with a decent force of siege tanks. Terra is all over this.
Yeah. Oh man, those tanks on siege, I thought they were just going to A-move into those tanks and just, you know, call it a day. But it looks like they're going back here. They're actually going to run into the other tanks that were coming back to defend. They might actually get a small victory here. Yeah, they do grab a couple of tanks for free. And there's actually a lot of SCVs now coming off to fight or something. There's empty dropships as well.
He's got nothing to mine, so he may as well use his SCVs as a fight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, SCVs do actually tank siege tank shots quite well. But here we go. This could be the last hurrah for Largo. He's got all his tanks sieged up. He gets some good shots off. It's probably not quite enough, or is it the SCVs? The heroic SCVs come to save the day. It was looking grim for their siege tank buddies, but the SCVs, they had it. Do we have any SCVs with kills yet, though?
No kills just yet. No, nothing. They're all redirecting somewhere. I'm not quite sure where to. He's going to try and set up the 9 o'clock base again. If nothing else, Largo is being incredibly persistent, but,
mass wraiths elegant. Mass wraiths on the right side.
My God. Okay, so mass wraiths is probably what's going to clean this up. There are enough wraiths there to easily deal with a couple of Goliaths, and more than enough to deal with siege tanks.
Yeah, and the Goliaths are in a dropship now. Could you imagine if he gets his last 2 Goliaths sniped in a dropship by Wraiths? Oh, that must be the most horrible feeling. Meanwhile, he's actually using them to bomb these tanks. He's going to be really sad when the Wraiths show up now. Because Wraiths are actually quite weak against Goliaths. So, like, 2 Goliaths, especially if you have, like, a couple SCVs repairing, can hold off a lot of Wraiths. But GG from Largo, and Terror takes it down.
Well played there by Terra. I actually have to say I was kind of in a weird way. I know Terra's definitely the rightful winner of that game, but I was somehow rooting for Largo because it's a bit unfortunate to see at this stage of the tournament a TVT in which one player's already practically qualified and the other hasn't, and the one who hasn't gets knocked out.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So it would have been nice if Largo had been able to take that, and then we would have seen one more Terra possibly going through. But the best man won. Terra undoubtedly earned the victory there. And he just established his position right from a very early point. Both players kind of knew what they were fighting about. So we saw a lot of very early flashpoints at the top of the map and eventually favoured Terra. And we can see why he was so fighting for that so tenaciously, because it paid off in the long run. I mean, it was just a slow defeat right there for Largo.
Well, I think it was an interesting kind of clash of styles here. So for Largo, it was, I want to do a lot of dropping, a lot of stabbing you in the back in your main, basically kind of be a little bit more mobile, a little bit more active. Whereas Terra's like, I'm just going to set up a contain, you can't leave, and I'm going to have more bases than you. And like, that's it. So I'll defend the drops, reinforce my contain, and just make sure I can basically out macro you. So yeah, kind of interesting different game plans there, and we saw how it played out. I mean, in this case, TerrOr won with his contain, but that's not to say that going for drops is bad or it's worse or anything. I mean, there's plenty of games where the player who goes for mass drops actually wins. In fact, I actually just watched a game this morning that C played, Liquid C, in some Sonic tournament, where he actually was the one who went for like a very aggressive contain on Sniper Ridge, and his opponent just kept dropping his main and running vultures around to harass his bases, and he actually lost that game. So it's just how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, it really can happen. It's not by any means in terms of any kind of style victory. I mean, it was just different choices. But yeah, the dropship strategy, believe me, isn't as ineffective as it looked right there. I mean, it was just because TerrOr had the map locked down so thoroughly from quite an early stage that the dropships just looked so entirely toothless. But it doesn't always have to be that way.
Indeed. So we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be back with more games. I think we're going to be coming back with the semifinals. Yes, indeed we are. So stay tuned, guys.